I want to introduce you to the Munroe Global app, the ultimate platform to empower your leadership journey and inspire your purpose-filled life. Access timeless teachings designed to help you grow in every area of your life. From leadership development to personal growth, Munroe Global has it all at your fingertips. With the Munroe Global app, you'll have exclusive access to powerful videos and messages from the legendary Dr. Myles Munroe, a digital library packed with life-changing content right at your fingertips, and a vibrant global community of visionaries, leaders, and change makers just like you. Whether you're at home, on the go, or in the office, the Munroe Global app ensures you never miss an opportunity to learn, grow, and lead. Available now on Google Play and the Apple App Store, the Munroe Global app is your gateway to unlocking your potential and impacting your world. Download the Munroe Global app today and take the first steps toward living the life you were born to lead. The world is in desperate need of a new breed of leaders. Leaders who don't just follow trends, but transform the future. Within our communities, there are too many people that feel lost, uncertain of their purpose or their reason for being. The world defines success as power, status, wealth, but leadership is about transformation, not titles. That's why the Monro Institute of Leadership was established. We're an institute designed to equip, empower, and develop leaders who transform communities and influence change. At the Monroe Institute of Leadership, we believe leadership is built on knowing your purpose and identity, determining a vision, and multiplying your impact. Our approach equips leaders to create lasting change, starting with themselves, then their communities, and finally the world. So, are you ready to lead with purpose? Join the Monroe Institute of Leadership and step into your calling.
Good afternoon, everyone. I trust everyone is doing well. Welcome to our live for today. Excited for this live. It's been a minute since I've been on with you guys. I trust everyone is having a good day. Coming down to the end of the summer, school is about to start. Kids are about to go back to school. If you have experienced the summer I've experienced, which I think we all have, this has been a really hot summer. Oh my goodness. I don't know how this can't be the same sun that I grew up feeling, over these years. The summer has been drastically hot, but, hopefully you guys kept cool. Hopefully you've enjoyed the summer. Hopefully you was able to spend some time with your kids, with your family, all that good stuff during the summertime. So I just want to do my regular check-in, saying what's up to everyone. I would love for you guys to comment where you're tuning in from. It's always good to touch and recognize, well, not touch, but recognize you guys who are joining us and where you're joining us from. Let's see. So I see someone joining from Malaysia, someone from Dubai, someone from Mali. Wow, it's very global. Someone from Kuwait. Man, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining the live. We also have folks from Guyana, Zimbabwe, France. Wow, we got people from all over the world. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys as always. Supporting the brand, supporting our organizations, supporting everything that we have done and are continuing to do as we progress this vision forward. Once again, my name is Myles Munroe Jr. For those of you that don't know, today is going to be not a long talk, but a very powerful one that I'm excited to do, and just hopefully continuing to be an inspiration to everyone out there. All right, so I'll highlight a few more countries, if you will. So keep bringing them in. So I see folks from Virginia, USA, someone from Long Island, New York. Shout out to New York, one of my favorite cities in the world. We got Illinois. See, I said it right. I said it like a true Illinoisan. Someone from Uganda. someone checking in from Ghana. Orlando, Florida. Brazil is in the house. Welcome. Boston. Someone else from Ghana. We got New Jersey. Tapping in. We have Memphis, Tennessee. Welcome. We got South Florida. We have South Africa. A few folks from South Africa. Welcome, South Africa. Someone tapping in from the UK. We got someone homegrown from the Bahamas. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for joining in. Let's see who else we have. We have someone from Oklahoma, from Miami, from Namibia. What's up to everyone? Someone from Canada. I just want to make sure I could say as much countries and cities as you guys are putting in. Someone from Ethiopia, someone from Montreal. Shout out to Utah, Kenya. See, I said those already. Chicago. I think I said France already, but if not, welcome France. I'm not sure what HSVAL is, but welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Stonecrest, Atlanta, Georgia. Very specific, not just Atlanta, but Stonecrest, Atlanta. Thank you for joining in. Bermuda, someone else from South Africa. Trinidad and Tobago, welcome, welcome. Alberta, Canada. The Bronx, New York. Shout out New York once again. Someone from Vegas. Just welcome to everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. I just want to extend again my gratitude for the support, the continued support of our organizations, of myself, of my family, everything that we're doing. You know, the purpose of us and everything that we do is for you, right? We want to continue this vision of transforming lives, right, and creating agents of change around the globe. And you know, that's what we do at the core of our organizations. And every time that we go live, every time that we have an opportunity to speak to one person or a group of individuals, you know, that's the goal, that's the vision, right? To infect change, or a mindset of change to individuals. All right. So I want to get to what I'm here to talk about today. I hope that, you know, whatever I share and what's said, it inspires or, you know, just kind of ruffles your feathers in a way where you go out there and you do something. You conquer the challenge that is in front of you, the obstacles that are in front of you, and you just, you know, want to develop and better yourselves. All right. So I'm excited to be with you today for this particular live session. But I want to start with asking a question. So have you ever felt the pressure to lead like someone else? You know, maybe you've watched a leader you admire and thought, man, if that person can do it, I can do it, right? I can do it just like them. Maybe I could dress like them. Maybe I could think the way that they think. Maybe if I do all of that, you know, I'll be respected or celebrated, you know, the way these leaders are. If you thought of that, then I want to say that you are not alone. You know, I was there. I felt the weight or the temptation even to copy someone else's style, to try and imitate their purpose, do things that I saw, that I thought, man, if it's working for someone else, it can sure enough work for me. Right? But here's the truth. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. The world needs the original version of you. You know, today I want to talk about how to unlock your unique contribution, and the best way to lead is to lead from who you are already, right? So the topic of today is how to lead from who you are, who you already are, all right? The first principle I want to tackle is simple. You know, you were born with something that the world needs. You know, let's start with this foundational truth that every single human was born with a gift, right? A seed of potential that makes them irreplaceable. You know, my dad always said that the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but life without purpose. And the reason that's so powerful is because it tells us that the real loss in life isn't when you stop breathing. It's rather when you live your life and never discover why you were born. Think about it. There are over 8 billion people on this planet, right? And not one person has your fingerprint. That alone should tell you you are unique. That alone should tell you that you are not a mistake. That alone should tell you that you are not an accident, but you are actually here intentionally. And I remember when I was a young adult, maybe in my mid 20s, maybe mid to late 20s, I felt this pull to kind of live up to expectations, right? I had this father who was well known, well celebrated, well traveled. A lot of people looked up to him, and there was this expectation on me to live up to this person that he had blown up to be. Um, and it's a legacy that in a way, I was very skeptical about. And skeptical, when I say skeptical, I mean like very fearful about, right? Because my fear was, man, how am I going to live up to someone else's footsteps, right? So live up to what someone else's, what someone else was able to create for themselves. But I quickly discovered that walking in someone else's shoes might get me noticed, might get me recognized, might get me into certain doors, but it will never get me to the destination that I was placed there for, right? It will never get me to fulfill the purpose that is on my life. So the first principle is this: you already carry something the world needs. It's not about getting more degrees, not about getting more titles, or even about more positions in the job that you're serving in. It's already inside of you, right? Whatever that is. Uh, the thing that we need to avoid doing, and this takes me to my next point, is being trapped with comparisons. The challenge that we live in, especially in 2025, is we live in a society and a culture of comparison. Social media is constantly showing us highlight reels of other people's lives, right? What they're doing, where they're going, how successful they are, and it doesn't really paint that perfect picture or that realistic picture of, yes, the good times, the success, and everything that we love to see, right? But it doesn't show the failures, the challenges, the setbacks, the ugly side of success. It just shows us the great looking, pretty ambitious things that we all want to achieve, we all want to experience, but not all of us are able to get there because a lot of us are so focused on comparing ourselves to others, right? On our jobs, we compare salaries, we compare titles, we compare who got the latest and biggest promotions within our communities. We compare how much influence we have versus someone else. And then we compare like the respect level we sometimes compete with. But as the saying goes, the comparison is the thief of joy. When you compare yourself to others, you immediately undervalue your own uniqueness. You start to believe that your gift isn't as valuable because it doesn't look like what you're comparing it to. Imagine if your eye tried to become your hand, or your ear tried to become your foot. Your body would completely fall apart because everything will be out of whack, right? So in the same way, when you stop functioning in your lane because you're busy trying to copy someone else, you rob the world of what only you can bring to it. When you copy, you become a poor imitation. But when you lead and really lead from who you are, you become an original. And as we all know, originals are always more valuable than the duplicates, right? So, how do we discover our unique contribution? I want to break this down in a real practical way so that we can understand, right? So, I want to give you 3 steps. Those steps are gift, purpose, service. All right. Number 1 is gift. Number 1 is purpose. Number two is purpose. Number three is service. So the first thing you do is you have to identify your gift, right? Ask yourself, what do I do naturally well, like with very little effort? What do people consistently come to me for? Whether it's advice, whether it's because of my creativity or your creativity, whether it's because of the way you organize or are able to organize, whether it's because you are able to encourage and really influence and impact others, whether it is that you're just a solution-based person, right? Ask yourself, what do you do? What do people consistently come to you for? Because to be honest, sometimes your gift can feel just too natural for it to even seem like a gift, right? It's so natural that it's easy for you to overlook it, and you think to yourself, "Man, this is so easy for me," and I think it's just so easy that anybody can do it. But the answer is, and the reality is that that's not true, right? What's natural to you is often supernatural for someone else. And that's something that's unique to each of us, right? Because you look at individuals in different arenas, right? Different industries, and you have so many, players in those arenas. And I'm not just talking about sports. I'm just talking about like these different industries and people that function and facilitate in them. They're all basically doing the same thing, but doing it differently, right? And the skill may be the same, the talent may be the same, but the execution is different. And I think that's what we need to really focus on, right? So you need to identify your gifts, right? And then the second thing is to connect it to purpose. So what excites you, right? What lights you up inside? What could you talk about for hours without getting bored? Your gift without purpose becomes meaningless, and your purpose without a gift becomes frustration. But when you combine the two, you find the true fulfillment. So, everyone, we all are gifted, right? We all can attain and gain success through our gifts, right? Through our skill sets. We're able to develop a career for ourselves professionally in different areas of life. But if our gift isn't tied to a specific purpose, it's still going to feel meaningless, right? We're going to feel unfulfilled. So in order to serve in your true leadership from who you are, you have to, identify your gift and then direct it towards or connect it to a purpose. And I think that's the key in ensuring that we are living purpose-filled lives, right? And then the third thing is you direct it towards a service. Now, you may ask, you must ask, who benefits when I use this gift? If you're the only person benefiting, then it's not a true gift, right? It's not a God-given gift, because there is nothing that God has put on the inside of us that is self-serving, that is only for us, right? Everything that we have been given, that we have been blessed with, that we have been skilled with, it's not for our consumption. It's for us to give to others and impact others with it, right? You have to ask yourself, how does the gift that you possess and connecting your gift and your purpose, how does it solve a problem, or how does it meet a need, or how does it inspire someone else? Leadership isn't about spotlighting. It's really about service, right? So maybe your gift is communication. Let's just use an example. You have identified a gift of communication, right? So then you would say, okay, well, my purpose then is to inspire, or I feel that my purpose is to inspire and motivate young people in the professional aspects of their lives. So then the service could be, where in connecting those two, could be mentoring those young people, whether it's students, whether it's young adults, whether it's young individuals in your church. You're offering that service of mentorship, right? I want to mentor you to help you develop into the young professional that you aspire to be. That's where leadership is truly born. When your gift and your purpose are directed outwardly and not inwardly, that's true leadership. Because leadership is all about influence. Leadership is not a title. It's primarily an influence. My dad developed a great definition of leadership, and it's such a perfect definition. And what I like about the way that he defined leadership is that you can attack it from both ways. And I'm going to give you, I'm going to dive deep into what exactly I mean. So the definition of leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, fueled by a passion that is generated by a vision, produced by a conviction, and ignited by a purpose. I'll say that again. So leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, fueled by a passion that is generated by a vision, produced by a conviction, and ignited by a purpose. And what I mean, you can do it both ways. Is the best way to define this, or to even see how leadership is established, is you flip the definition, right? So if you start from the end going to the beginning, you will see that when you truly, or to truly become a leader, you have to start with a purpose, right? And that purpose is ignited through a conviction that is produced, right? And once that conviction is produced, that conviction generates a vision, and then your passion, and then your passion is inspirational to others, and that allows you to be influential, right? So when you start with purpose, you discover and really develop your purpose. That purpose ignites or confirms or founds you on a conviction, right? You are convicted in the purpose that you have discovered and in the purpose that you're serving. And then that conviction allows you to generate a vision for your life, a vision for your family, a vision for you professionally, spiritually, individually. And then that vision then ignites your passion and allows you to inspire others, which results in you being influential. And that influence is where leadership is born. All right, so you don't need to be called CEO, you don't need to be called pastor, you don't need to be called manager, or even a director to be a leader, right? Leadership begins the moment life starts influencing someone else. The moment you start influencing someone else, that's when leadership begins. And trust me, someone is always watching, right? Someone is always looking at you, seeing what you're doing, and being influenced by you, right? So, parents influence their children, friends influence each other, team members influence other team members. But the question that you ask yourself shouldn't be, am I a leader? The question really should be, what kind of influence am I having? Because, we all can have influence, right? But the influence can either be positive or negative, right? It can either affect in a great way and lead people down a great path, or it could have a negative effect. So the question you should be asking is, man, what kind of influence am I having? And this takes me back to the point of, what our organization believes, and truly what I believe, what my family believes. Like, we are all born to be leaders. We are natural leaders, right? We were made in the image and likeness of God, and obviously God is the ultimate leader, right? So obviously everything that he has, we are. So we are naturally born to lead, right? But that leadership can be effective both positively and negatively. So, the question is, what kind of influence are you having? And I've grown to realize that my greatest influence wasn't coming from being in front of a microphone, or being in front of a camera, or being in front of a group of individuals, right? It comes from my lifestyle and the way that I live, right? People don't just follow what you say, they truly follow what it is that you do. So I want you to remember this. People will follow authenticity before they follow authority. People will follow authenticity before they follow authority. So that's why you must lead from who you are. If you're being your true authentic self, your influence is going to be organic. Your influence is going to be natural, right? Because when you're authentic, your influence is not forced. It flows from you naturally because it's who you are, right? So I want to provide you with some action steps, right? I want to leave you with 3 practical steps that you can take this week to unlock your unique contribution. The first thing I want you to do is to reflect. Okay. So I want you to write down your top natural strength. I just want you to write one strength. I know sometimes we discover that we have multiple strengths, right? But I want you to pick the strongest one and write that down. Then the second thing I want you to do is to ask yourself, who benefits most when I use this strength? And I want you to be very specific. Who is it that once I, execute and give this one strength that I have to the world, who do I see benefiting? And then the third thing that I want you to do is act. I want you to choose one way this week that you can intentionally serve someone using that gift. Okay, so I want you to reflect in writing down your top natural strength, just one of them. I want you to ask yourself who benefits most when I use this particular strength, and be super specific with it. And then I want you to act in choosing one way this week to intentionally serve someone using that gift. If you continue to do this very consistently, you'll see your influence begin to grow naturally. All right. So as I wrap up, let me remind you that your contribution doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. Right? You don't have to wait for permission to lead, nor don't you have to fit into anyone else's mold. The greatest leaders are not those who tried to be everyone else. They are those who discovered their unique contribution and lived it boldly. I want to challenge you. Don't waste your life trying to fit into someone else's calling. Lead from who you are. I think that's the ultimate gift that you can give away, giving you away, who you truly are, right? Duplicating yourself in others. I think for me that is a goal of mine, an end goal of mine. Like when it's all said and done for me, and I'm no longer on this earth, I would hope that I was able to duplicate myself in others, right? In my family, in my kids. In those that were able to be closely around me, and even in those that I have been able to affect and influence from a distance. But the desire that I have is to duplicate myself, right? I don't want to waste time trying to fit into any cool group or to be loved by everyone. No, I just want to lead from who I am, who I truly am. Okay, so that's my challenge to you for the rest of this year, right? For the rest of your life, discover your gift, connect your gift to purpose, and serve that purpose to the world. So now that we've gone through this talk, and if you're saying, man, Myles, I want help discovering, refining, and living out my purpose. I want to personally invite you to register for our Discover Your Purpose course at the Monroe Institute of Leadership. All of our courses are designed to walk you step by step into clarity, confidence, and impact. You don't need a stage to influence. You don't need a title to lead. You only need to be fully who you are. And that's what we want to help you to do. So if you are able to, there should be a link somewhere in the chat that the team is posting. You can learn more about our Discover Purpose course and all of the other courses that we have available coming up this fall at the Monroe Institute of Leadership. We talk about principles exactly like I spoke about today. And it just gives you a lot more details, a lot more depth into discovering who you are, bettering yourself, changing your mindset, and just ensuring that you aren't comparing yourself to others. You're leading from who you intrinsically and truly are. All right. I want to thank you for joining me today. Hopefully this talk has been inspirational, and it has encouraged you, if not to, develop yourself more through our institute, like encourage you to want to take these practical steps that I offered and apply them to your life starting today. My encouragement is, as always, to die empty. Let's not leave this earth with the things that we came into it with, right? Let's discover all of our skill sets, develop them, get them out, use them to the max, and just live intentionally on purpose. And hopefully, if we do that, we inspire others to do that, and it creates a snowball effect. All right. So that's what I wanted to share with everyone today. I trust that you have enjoyed, and not just enjoyed it from an entertainment standpoint, but enjoyed from an informational standpoint. I love when I get to learn. I call myself a lifelong learner. I always want to continue learning, always want to continue not just learning for myself, but learning for others as well, right? The things that I'm able to teach myself or learn for myself, I want to share. I want to offer it to as many people that I can, as often as I can. And I take opportunities like this to do just that. So again, you can visit our website, themill.org, to learn more about our courses. Our courses are starting this coming fall. We have a course called Discover Purpose that it really dives into, a lot of the principles and topics that I spoke about today. It's a great course. I think the information that you will get from it and the things that you will be able to develop through taking this course is going to be life-changing. And it's going to be something that it's going to continue to impact your life as you continue to dive deeper into who you intrinsically are, right? Who is it that you were born to be? What is it that you were born to do? That's my hope, that we all are able to leave this earth knowing exactly who we were and why we existed. All right. So I want to take this time just to take a few questions. We have some time left, so I just want to open the floor up for questions. I see the team is posting links to our website, the Monroe Institute of Leadership website, and our Discover Purpose course in the chat. So if you want to find out more about it, just click those links. Also, please follow us on all our social media platforms. The Monroe Institute, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, well, X. We are on, I'm missing a platform. We're on YouTube. So, check us out. Also, for our other organization, Munroe Global, also want you to follow Munroe Global everywhere we are. We're also on YouTube. We're also on Facebook, also on Instagram, also on X. We're on TikTok as well with Munroe Global. Just tap in, man. We are continuing continuing to develop our resources, and the goal is to repurpose our resources with all the tools that are being created and established on a day-to-day basis, right? So this new technology that's coming in, even though it's happening rapidly, if used the right way, it could be super effective. And that's what we want to do. We want to be good stewards of the resources that we have been given. All right, so make sure to follow us on our social media platforms. All right, so just taking a few questions. So Ezekiel asks, can you give a real world scenario of how using your gift would look like? Absolutely. I mean, I gave an example in what I said earlier, right? So let's say you think your gift is you're a great communicator, right? You speak well, you converse well with others, and through that gift you find a sense of purpose in teaching, right, or speaking, or being motivational. Then a real time example of how you can use that gift is you can do what I'm doing right now. You can live stream, you can log on to your social media pages and communicate, right? And don't get so fixated on the numbers or the engagement or the reactions that you're getting. I think the focus should be on, man, if you have one person tuned in or one person looking at what you're saying, then you're affecting that one person. And as you continue to do it and you continue to develop that skill, then that audience is going to grow, right? So that's sort of a real world example that I would like to offer. Hopefully that, encourages you and opens your eyes to, the possibilities of what you're able to do with the gifts that you have. Let's see, Kevin. If I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize. I'm not going to say your last name. But Kevin says, do you have any tips on how to find yourself in your destiny in Christ? I think all of what you went over today stems from that. Absolutely. Man, so I think for me, the best place to start is what our organization, my dad has coined as the 5 questions of the human heart, right? And that's, who am I? Why am I here? What can I do? Where am I going? And then where am I from? I think those 5 questions, like if we truly want to figure out who we are, not only as individuals, but who we are in Christ, or who we are from our Creator, those 5 questions are very important for us to answer. And the way that we answer those is we have to go to the life book, right? The Bible. I think any question that we can have in life, the answer is in the constitution of the kingdom that we believe in. I truly believe that. There's nothing that we are experiencing today that hasn't already happened in history. That may be, a little unbelievable just because of the times that we living in with the technology that we have, but it's actually true. And there are countless similarities, right? Especially with the stories in the Constitution, right? In the life book, that I can mirror, man, this happened back then and it's happening now. It seems new, it seems far-fetched, but this is something that we have dealt with already. And you get your answers from history, and then you obviously you get it from insight and revelation as well. But you can't get that insight and revelation if you don't know where you come from, right? And that's one of the 5 questions. So I think to really understand how you find yourself and your identity in Christ, it's really answering those 5 questions, but answering them not just from a surface level, but from a real deep level, right? And understanding that you are here because of the Creator. So the discovery should be, man, why am I here? Why is the Creator here? Why has the Creator placed me here? And we can't answer that for ourselves. We can't ask someone else, another human being, for that. We must get those answers, those insights, and that revelation from our higher source. So, developing your spirit man, developing your spirit walk is of utmost importance with that. And with that comes seeking, right? You have to seek to find these answers. And I think that's technically the only way to do it. There's no easy way for it, right? There's no quick answer or no quick resolution to any and everything that we would want to discover in life. It takes time, it takes effort, right? It takes us doing the work. And I think once we continue to do that, we will start to really understand who our identity is in our Creator. Let's see. Her Freedom Journey says, I really found this very useful. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, Mr. Munroe Jr. Dad must be smiling at you from the Lord's bosom. Absolutely. I truly hope so. I appreciate that. Let's see. Sia Bonga. Again, if I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize. But Sia Bonga says, sir, I am 21 years old, still at the university. I feel like I was created for more. So I feel like I have a gap to fill. I don't know how to start in my leadership. So first thing I want to say is, man, you're 21. You are super young. You being super young doesn't mean that you need to wait to discover your leadership. I'm just saying that, man, you have a lifetime ahead of you. I could remember when I was 21, I thought I knew it all. I thought I had life figured out. And I quickly realized that I didn't. I still had a lot of learning to do. I still had a lot of development to do. So my encouragement to you is just to remain humble, right? Remain a student, right? Don't don't shun wisdom, don't shun the information, don't disrespect or disregard, those that would have come before you. Allow yourself to be mentored, nurtured, and just instructed by those that are close around you, those who you respect, who you feel that you can gain some good insight and good knowledge from. Don't do it by yourself. It's impossible for us to do it by ourselves, right? We should always do it as a part of a community. So I would say connect to individuals, who are like-minded, as you are, but also find an older community that you can tap into and learn from, and hopefully gain some inspiration from as well. Let's see, let me switch over. Any questions over here? So I see people asking about the replay, in case you logged in late. So this will be replayed on our Munroe Global YouTube channel and our Munroe Global Instagram page, right? So if you missed anything, you'll be able to rewatch this as soon as we're done, okay? Any in-person events coming up? So we have an event. It's going to be in South Africa this year, our Global Leadership Forum, which is our main leadership event. That's going to be in South Africa this year, this November, November 20th to December 1st. We're actually tagging it onto our Explore Africa tour. So that's something that we are incorporating into the tour this year. We're going to have our leadership event at the tail end of the tour. So if you're interested and looking forward or looking to, travel, want to go to Africa but never knew how to travel there or who to travel with, you can join us this coming November. You can find out all the information on our exploreafricatour.com website. The information for the tour is there. And like I said, we'll also be having our flagship leadership event in Africa as well. So I see a translation, but I don't see the previous message. So I don't want to read it out of context. So yeah. So the books, The Principles and the Power of Vision by Dr. Monroe helped me a lot with answering that question. I'm assuming you're talking about one of the 5 questions. Hopefully, maybe it was who am I or why am I here? Absolutely. I do recommend the books. I recommend all our books, actually, right? But if you have never read a book from our organization, a book from Dr. Monroe, I would suggest you start with either the Vision book, which is The Principles and Power of Vision, or start with the leadership book, Becoming a Leader. I think those 2 books are a great place to start, just to get a better understanding of the ideology that we stand on and what our organizations are founded on, right? And all of those are available through our website, monroeglobal.com, or you can find them at your local bookstores as well, okay? Any more questions? Excuse me. Okay. Hi from Georgia. Your father has changed my life. I'm 25 and every day listening, and I'm still taking notes. Mikkel, man, thank you for that, man. I do the same. I listen to our resources and read our resources on a daily basis, continuing to learn, continuing to better myself in all that I do. Jasmine Rose says, how do you intentionally prepare your mindset for seasons you haven't even entered yet? Great question. And man, the best answer I could give you is I just expect things to change. One thing I learned from a very young age is change is the only constant in life. So the minute we get content or even get complacent in thinking that, man, what is now is all that will be, and how things will be forever. That's when things will happen, and it's going to shock us, or it's going to cause us to become stuck because we aren't expecting it or preparing for it. So every day I prepare for the changes, or for a change, or for a challenge, right? That's the mindset that I have. And I try to keep that mindset so that my pivot is happens a lot more quicker than most, right? A lot of times when people aren't expecting change or prepared for change, they pivot, but they take a bit longer to pivot, right? And I think if you're keeping your head leveled, right, and you're keeping your eyes in front of you and focused on like every possible situation, and you're learning also from the past, right, learning from what either you've gone through or someone else has gone through. You're you're learning in real time, right, and you're responding in real time, and hopefully that response rate is a lot faster because of the expectations of change that you have. So that's how I prepare. I prepare knowing that, man, things aren't going to stay the same. And in the same way where like when things that I'm successful in, or seasons of success that I'm in, I know that that won't last. In the same way that seasons of failure won't last. Right? It's a cycle, and there's a season for laughter. There's a season for crying. There's a season for success. There's a season for failure. So just as long as you know that life is seasonal, right, and you don't live or dwell in any particular season, whether good or bad, that expectation then grows to, this is just a season I'm going through, and I'll eventually get out of this one. All right. Let's see. Thank you for sharing, sir. This is Leslie. Just to respond to Singabonga, God has everything planned out. We just have to do our part. But definitely you will have your own course and you will lead in your own right. Absolutely so. So, Singabonga, that was directed towards your question as well. Thank you for that, Leslie. Let's see. Where in South Africa? Sorry, I probably didn't mention this. So we will be in Johannesburg. The conference, the leadership conference, will be in Johannesburg, but the tour will be in Johannesburg and Cape Town. All right. So the conference will be the weekend of the 28th, and the tour starts on the 20th. Okay. So the leadership conference is on the tail end of the tour, and it's going to be in Johannesburg, South Africa. All right. But you can find all that information out on our Explore Africa tour. Okay, I think the link should be somewhere in the chat. I'm sure the team put it there. So Zavdor 242. So it seems to be someone homegrown. Yo, bro, just been hoping to get to you the heads up on all of these AI videos claiming to be your father. Yep. So, as I always think, every time I go live, I mention this. We are well aware of all of these AI generated content. We're doing our best to police it. We have been able to get quite a number of the channels taken down. But if one is taken down, another 10 appears, right? So it's a continuous process. So it's something that we are aware of. And thank you guys for always emailing us the links and shooting us the messages saying that, there are some AI generated content that isn't speaking what would seem to be something that my dad would speak or say. We are aware of it. I do want to say though, if you have to question, if you're watching a video or listening to something that, it has my dad's name or image on it, and if you have to question anything, like, if you're saying, man, this doesn't sound right, this doesn't sound like Dr. Munroe, doesn't sound like something he said he would say, chances are it's not him. I've come across a few videos where it's almost hard for me to even tell that it isn't his voice. It's just it's crazy how technology has developed to this point. But like I say, the majority of the channels out there are not real. I always encourage people to really go to our page. Munroe Global is the official page of our organization, and it has the official resources from Dr. Myles Munroe. And even better than that, you can download the Munroe Global app. The Munroe Global app will have all of the resources of Dr. Munroe, resources from our organization on the app itself. And it'll be exclusive content. I know a lot of people say that, some content on the app you can find on YouTube and elsewhere. I guarantee you there are a lot of teachings, a lot of albums on the app that you're only going to be able to find on the app. And I'm talking about in the depth and in the organization that it is in the app, right? You may find one or two teachings and videos here and there, but when we're talking about like the full level of teaching that my dad has done on any particular topic, all of it can be found on our app, all right? So you can log on to the App Store, whereas the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, search Munroe Global, Munroe Global, and you can download the app, and you can enjoy the content on a daily basis, all right? Let's see. I'll take two more questions. David McCullough said, what have you learned about earthly achievements, money, and accomplishments through your life experience or watching your dad? Man, I learned, one thing I learned after my parents passed is we take nothing with us, right? At all. Like my dad, those passed and they left the house behind, they left the cars behind, they left the clothes behind. Like they took nothing with them. So all of these earthly things are meaningless, right? And the only way that they become meaningful is when we use them to serve our purpose. So if you place meaning in these things, you're not going to be able to accomplish what it is that you're supposed to accomplish. So my mindset is, man, wealth, success, notoriety, all of these are tools, right? These are tools that we use to serve our purpose, right? To affect our purpose, to reproduce ourselves in the different arenas that we are able to be placed in and to be a part of. All right, so I see it as a tool, right? It's not an end goal. It's not the goal, right? It's a tool that we use to expand ourselves in our purpose and the way that we're able to affect purpose. All right. Let's see. One more question. All right, question. One day I will definitely visit Dr. Myles Munroe's cemetery. I'm Orthodox. Is he Protestant? Sorry for the bad English. No problem. Nope. Dr. Monro was, even in afterlife, still is non-denominational, right? We don't adhere to any denomination. If anything, we are kingdom citizens. That's truly what we believe. But would love for you to come down. Eventually, we have a surprise. I don't want to make the announcement right now, but we are in the process of developing something to where people that come to the Bahamas, come to Nassau, New Providence in particular, you'll be able to do some, let's call it touring of my dad and his life and my mom and her life, and learn a little bit more about their lives here in the Bahamas and how they were to affect on a global stage. All right. But I'll give some more information about that at a later date. But, this was great. This was fun. Thank you guys for engaging. Thank you guys for being a part of this conversation with me. We will be back. We're doing this on a monthly basis. Like I say, follow and tap into our organization and all of our social media pages so that you can know when things are happening, when we're going live and all of this good stuff. And hopefully we can stay locked in, man. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining. And as always,